right, team. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roll through stocks that I like. Then we'll go through a little bit of the gappers list here, right? Stocks that I'm looking at today. I'm going to be looking at some oil stocks to see how those are moving. Right now, I'm looking at ConocoPhillips. I've had this one in this kind of area down below towards the support. Going to look to see if we can continue riding higher, right? I kind of like this trade overall for the longer term, especially if you kind of draw this trend line here. If we can actually kind of trade above this trend line going towards like kind of the 116, 120 area, we're going to be looking really nice in ConocoPhillips. Really don't want to see it break back into this gap zone below 105s. That's not the area that I want to be looking at. There's some other names here that you can look at also in a very similar space, and they're very similar in the charts. EOG is another one that I'd take a look at. CNQ is another reason why I'm looking at this space. You can see how this has actually started to push higher. This is Canadian Natural Resources, and this is really starting to get towards a resistance right above it here towards like 62.14s, 62.50s. If we can get through that, can this really start pushing back here towards the 70 on the 52-week high? We'll see what happens here with these oil stocks. Last one that I'd given these oil names to kind of watch is PXD, but this one's already gone significantly from the bottom. Take a look. This one's been moving since on March 177.26 all the way up there to 230s. So this one's a little bit extended. I definitely be looking for pullbacks on this, but this has been ripping towards the upside. PXD, and we're talking oil here. Let's go to the industrials, where I'm looking at one stock that is, of course, all going to be based on General Electric. General Electric can't stop, won't stop, and right now, I don't see it turning around. It's back up there to 95, could get up there towards the 100. So if you're looking for stocks that are bullish, maybe you're looking at GE if you like to run with the one that's on the higher move. If you're looking for a pullback move to look for, I'm actually looking at Honeywell. This has pulled back significantly. It went up there to 220s, and that was in November of 2022. Now we're back here in April, starting to really kind of create this kind of bottoming effect around the 188, trying to make our move back to there through the 200. This is definitely going to be on the radar. And you guys in the chat, throw up those ones and twos. Let me know what you guys are thinking. That's what it's all about here on Pre-Market Prep. I did see a lot of ones being thrown up there with those oil names. So it looks like we have some bulls out there. Let's see what you guys think about GE and Honeywell. I'll keep watching the chat to catch up with you guys. All right, let's go to the next one, and then we'll take a look at what you guys talked about there. Let's go to some of the AI stocks. You guys know out there how these are kind of moving. Let's take a look at BFRG. This is one that I was able to nail on Friday. Hope you guys were watching, of course, live trading, was able to nail this one for a really nice gain here on the up move. Of course, I stopped out on the pullback around the 680s, looking to see if this one's going to keep going, looking to see if these AI names will keep going. Of course, there's other ones than BFRG, right? And I see Richard saying one on that Honeywell recent low. One on everything AI, says Donka Dave. Definitely something to watch. And Eric says a one on GE. So there's some bullish outlook there. I saw another GE one. So we'll keep an eye out on these stocks to see if they can actually get the lift. But definitely the AI names, right? BFRG, there's GFAI, right? That one's has been going sideways now. Will we see some other ones start to come out, right? I know a lot of people have been talking about these AI overall. This is one that I think we need to keep an eye out. Are we going to get another run towards 32? Or are we going to get a crack of this 2040? If it does crack 20, I think that's where you got to really be careful, because this could easily be right back down to $10. So keep your eyes on these stocks. Of course, the AI names, there could be others that come out here. And if you guys know any in the chat that you guys want to talk about, definitely throw them up. I'm really not feeling too like this can always keep going higher, because I think this is just hype, right? Just like we got the metaverse where we got a lot of these stocks to make a move and then eventually coming right back down. Something to keep an eye out. We'll see what happens with these AI names. Last one that I'd give is SoundHound AI. This one I feel like has been going sideways, and that's actually a positive, right? Because we had this big pop back in early February. Now it's been kind of going sideways through here. If we can get back through 3 and actually have a good day on some AI names, I don't see this one as a bad trade. So I'm going to keep watch on this one to see if Sound can finally break through 3 again. and make its way to like 330. That's where we got some resistance, 330, 340s. Then from there, I think we could really get motoring back to the 390s and the $4. So this one's definitely going to be on watch today. Mitch, you were trading Sox S last week. Am I still interested? Well, Richard, come on over to live trading. You'll find out if I like Sox S or not. But just a hint, I definitely will be looking to see a little bit of tech turnaround today. We'll see what happens on that. Let's keep going. Let's take a look at different areas. I want to keep rolling through these. And then, of course, we'll go through the gappers. If anything stands out from you guys on the left-hand side where you see the scanner, let me know. Put those tickers in the chat. We'll run through them here, especially before we get Tim Quas and Dennis Dick back. Let's go. All right, so let's keep taking a look. Let's go to diagnostics and research stocks. So we're talking healthcare sector, right? TMO, Thermo Fisher Scientific, right? I'm keeping an eye out on this one because it's the leader in this space. And one thing that I can clearly see is what sideways period here, right? So we've been sideways since pretty much February 2022. I want to see if we can make a run towards this 600 and really start get going here on Thermo Fisher. One thing that I also see is that we've come from the lows since all the way from November. We made a run to 600, pulled back here towards 540s, now trying to ramp right back up. And one thing that I can clearly see in the last 3 days, what do we got? We got lows all around the same area. Lows at 582.01, 582.01, 582. So definitely buying up on around that 582. Going to look to see if this can push through and keep moving. I have one that I'm already swing trading in this. I'm trading DHR, Danaher Corporation. And a lot of this is also some sleepy action after a lot of pullback. Can we really get the motor going? We'll keep watch to see if we can finally break through this trend line, because if we could break through this trend line, I feel like we could really get going. That's a move back up towards 280s. Eventually, I'd look for a break towards the 285s and maybe even the 290s, 300 spot. We'll see what happens here on a name like Danaher Corporation. And just to give you guys a couple more names in this space, MTD is one that's already been moving here. You guys can see this on the daily, how it's been strong. We'll look to see if this can get through the resistance right above. But there's some other names that you guys can keep a watch on too. DXCM is one to watch. Dexcom. This one has some resistance here. Will it get through this kind of 120 area going towards the 125s, 128? Something to watch on Dexcom and these diagnostics research stocks. All right, let's go. Let's do one last one. We've already talked about some of these biotechs. This is the last area I'm going to look at. Of course, I've been talking about IBB since last Monday. I'm going to call out Moderna here. Of course, with their news, we'll look to see if we can get back through 159. I like Gilead. I was trading this one last week. Going to look to see if this one can get moving towards the 85. Nice little trend line here. If it can actually get moving and get through that 85, I think we could actually get some uplift here in Gilead. And another one that's just been hanging on in the top of the pattern. And why I like the top of the pattern is because at least you know your risk, right? You're getting higher lows and higher lows in this pattern. And that really helps you out, right? You guys can see right here, the ascending triangle. We're getting tighter and tighter for the break above 835. We'll see what happens here in Regeneron. And the last one that I'll give is Biogen. Biogen definitely started getting moving already. So I'd be looking for pullbacks towards kind of like the 290s. That's what I like here. But you guys can see it already in the pre-market up there to 294s. We'll look for some pullback into the 290s, but I definitely like this one. This is going to be more like a swing trade outlook here. We'll see if this one can pull back and really get moving. Biogen. All right, let's get to some of these stocks on the left-hand side in the gappers list here to take a look at what's moving today. All right, of course, there's going to be the merger Monday deal. That's this RXDX. Then there's BX here. Black box stocks. This thing's going like crazy here. Looks like one of the penny stock movers of the day. I'll call it out. Let me see if there's any news on this. Looks like they're announcing a letter of intent for merger with EVEC Group, a leader of supplier for luxury brands and EV performance. So looks like there's an intent to merge with EV Tech. So definitely getting the lift right now. You guys can see that pushing strong here towards 12. We'll look to see if this keeps moving. This is kind of a cheaper name and could get moving. Definitely one of the top pennies. I'll call it a penny. Just it's a $10 stock. We'll call it a small cap stock that's making a lift right now versus a penny. Microsoft getting a move. Of course, today we've talked a little bit about that news. EMPH up a little bit here in the pre-market. That's interesting to see. Of course, these are solar names. We'll look to see if First Solar can continue to run. Of course, this has not broken the 200 and has just been going sideways here around the 200. So I'm going to look to see if we can finally make a move out of this. If it ever breaks down or breaks out, that's something that we got to keep an eye out for these solar names. So definitely keep your eyes on some of these solar names to see if they get moving or not. All right, let's keep going. Let's go work down the list. Baidu is actually a stock that I was going to mention a little bit later today, but I don't think we'll be able to get to it. So I'm going to go ahead and mention it right now. Give you guys the news that's coming out with Baidu here. So Baidu released new products. So it looks like this release of new products definitely giving them a little bit of a lift here. Let me go ahead and throw the banner up so you guys can read that here at the bottom. So Baidu releasing new products covering intelligent driving, cabin, and maps at an automotive intelligence conference on Sunday. I think this is also where you also had XPEV introduce their new platform, the Smart Electric Platform Architecture, SEPA 2.0. So you guys can see the Chinese EVs and China tech maybe getting a lift today. We're already seeing that already with Baidu getting a little bit of a push up here. You can see the 15-minute, this gapped up there, went up towards 133.49. Let's take a look at XPEV. That one also up there towards 11.23s in the pre-market, which is just at around like $10. So already gapping up. Be careful with those gap ups, right? Baba gapping up already, right? JD gapping up already. Looks like a lot of these China names already gapped up. We'll look to see if they pull back and continue to run, but don't look too bad on the charts. So keep your eyes on some of the China names. I think it's going to matter a lot of what happens to our tech names. If they get washed out, I think these will get washed out. If for any reason we can continue riding those tech names, I'd keep an eye out on the China names to see if they can continue moving higher. All right, let's keep going. We got a little bit more for you guys here, and especially at 8:35, we're going to get to Market Structure Mondays, so don't go anywhere, team. Smash the like. Hope you guys are enjoying me taking over a little bit today and going through some stocks. Let's keep going. Let's go to some other names. Of course, what do you see here? DXCM, one that I just talked about, Dexcom. So keep an eye out on those health names that I was looking at. I'll see if they can get moving. Diagnostics and research is an area that hasn't really taken off in the healthcare sector, but I'm looking to see which industries play a little catch up, especially to the major drug manufacturer names that had really already taken off. All right, let's keep going. Let's get to some more stocks here. NVO is definitely one to keep an eye out. You're talking major kind of drug manufacturer, right? Will this kind of keep moving higher? I'd keep a watch on it. It's up there to 171. Could just keep moving. Baba is showing up here. BTU. Ooh, did I see someone in the chat call it out also? Keep an eye on it, team. BTU doing a little bit of some buyback action. Is that what I saw? Let me use, of course, my trusty Benzinga Pro here to let me know what's going on in BTU. And yes, we do have ourselves a little bit of a buyback action here. I'm going to throw up the banner here so you guys can get it. And look how quickly I grab news from the Pro and make a banner so you guys can read it here. Peabody Energy shares are trading higher after the company announced a $1 billion stock buyback and a 0.075 share quarterly dividend. So a little bit of some dividend action, a little bit of some buyback action. That's definitely giving it a lift here in the pre-market. And I will say, keep your eyes on coal stocks. The ones that I kind of watch here, there's like 3 names that I watch in coal. I watch AMR a lot because I think this one kind of has a tendency of holding the pattern. You see how it's been going sideways. Will this one start moving through the 168 and 170? We'll look to see if it gets moving. And a smaller one I look at is CEIX. We'll look to see if this one can get a little bit higher, start getting back through the 6150s. I like about this one is it has a tendency of trading like with these trend lines. So let's see if we can actually get this back through 62.50 and start making a little bit of an up move here in CEIX. Coal has not been the strong area as of late, but who knows? Maybe it starts getting moving, especially if we're starting to see inflation move higher. When oil moves higher, a lot of the time coal has also kind of got a little bit of a lift. So we'll see what happens with this. All right, let's get out of our, of course, TradeZero segment here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this down and we'll get